Oh, shit.
No
I
problem.
almost made you deaf, man. Slot car almost killed your ears. You gotta mention that now.
Yeah.
I'm sorry again, man. I knew I was gonna do
No, no,
that.
no. It's all right.
Yeah,
It's
you're
all
right.
good.
It's all funny.
It's all good. It's all good. I was like, whoa, what's that? Hey everyone, welcome to the live stream. It's the three young guys. Welcome to our live
That's being
stream
kind.
tonight with George and with Marty. It's a pretty chill night. We all had the day off because it was Family Day in Canada. You guys had, what is it? President's Day? Or what is it?
President's Day. Yeah.
Yeah, nice. So yeah, we're all off. Actually, MP Slotcar Space just left my house. Literally like 10 minutes ago. He was here running some laps on my track. We're talking about
Oh yeah.
layouts, etc. He might jump on later tonight, so hopefully.
That's cool.
Yeah,
How far away is he from you?
half an hour.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Okay.
like
so you guys are
20
neighbors.
minutes, 20 to half an hour. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Lodar, thank you for joining us from the UK. Thank you. Dan Wiley, welcome. Thank you for joining us. We'll just give a couple people some time to trickle in, and we'll go from there. So, what
pretty
I know,
pumped
Marty,
about our
you've been really
subject
busy
tonight.
this week.
Yeah, I have been. I've been focused on rebuilding my layout, so this episode is perfect timing
Yeah, and
because it's been forefront of my mind for the last 2 weeks. So,
and George has upped his tech, as you can see, everyone. George is now like, let's give George some real estate here. Look at him. He's got like multi-camera action going.
major
George
upgrade.
is
this week.
looking like majorly upgraded here.
That's right.
Looking good, George.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. Anyway, we're just gonna let people trickle in. If you guys, give some time before we get going. There's no guests tonight, so we're kind of like, this is a chill live stream. No scrambling yet. Last week was a lot of
Last week-
scrambling.
Yeah, last week I got a little crazy.
Sunday
It was a
Slot
little
Cars in the
chaotic there
house.
for a minute.
Thank you, Geraldo. Welcome, Cyberg
Hey, guys.
1138. JB the gnome. Thank you, Jim Anthony. Thank you, Jim. Oh, that reminds me. Jim sent me some photos of his track. We should
Oh,
bring
yeah.
that in.
Cool.
Yeah.
Sneak peek of Marty's layout.
Yeah.
Well, you can see all the different. I just sent Raul and you, George, in the chat a bunch of pictures of the layout. I was kind of all over the place when designing, but that's the fun part.
Oh,
I
yeah.
enjoy that part.
Yeah, you gotta
Yeah.
find your groove.
Hopefully,
Well,
it gets overwhelming. Actually, well, just talking about
Yeah, it
that
sure
with
does.
MP, because I'm like, I'm very limited on my DDT table for space, and I know everyone's like, oh, just add a couple more inches, add another foot, but it's in reality, it's easy to add. I could add, but I have my setup in a very specific place. And to add, it would be very inconvenient because I have to shift my sound wall a couple
Yeah.
feet over, and I could, but it cut into my gym. So I have a gym on the other side of my sound wall. So do I sacrifice the gym to give myself
Sure.
more space for a slot car track? It gets tricky, right?
Yeah.
And I was talking to, like, even with MP today, we're talking about that, and it's tricky. It's tricky. Track design can be a very tricky thing.
It's like Gerardo saying, shoot, I would join if I'd have known that I would come on. Told you about my story into 132nd Slot Cars. Yeah,
Oh,
somebody
nice.
wants to come on. So if
Yeah, if he wants to come on, just if you want to come on and you want to say hi to us live, just I've put the link to my Facebook. You can just find me on Facebook and And as soon as you friend me, I can send you the link to jump on. It's very simple. You just click a button and choose your camera, and everyone that's used it before says it's pretty easy.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's see. We got Slot Car Journal in the house. Thank you, Slot Car Journal. We got Gladstone. Thank you.
Sunday Slot Car says, "Don't sacrifice the gym. Stay fit. He's your dealer."
He's my dealer. Yeah, well, the cast should be coming off this Friday, so I'll be mobile again, and then my priority is by end of March to have my industrial unit in place, so I can put down my
Nice.
24-foot by 8-foot track again. I'm excited
Nice.
for that.
Slot R is on too. What's up, Slot R? He's funny, man. That
Yeah.
guy's
Dave.
pretty witty.
Dave.
He's-
Dave had pretty controversial video over the weekend.
Oh, it was good.
I got to.
I thought it was
was
a
was
really
great.
good video. I think anybody who actually puts their, if you're true to themselves and you put it out there, I think it's good. And
I think so
it
too.
was a very honest review of a situation that I think was poorly done by one of the big car companies.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, he'll get some attention in the slot car community from us, right? Because we all care about these things. But I mean, he might that video might get seen at a higher level that maybe somebody might be able to make an impact. And I think that's why it was important he did that video.
Yeah.
What did
Because
he do it on?
slot
Because I
car
didn't
people
get
care.
it yet. Or at least I didn't see it. Was it on the Mustang or?
No, it was on a Ford Escort, I believe. The rally, like they call it, the hot rods in
Yeah.
Europe.
Right.
Yeah, you should watch it. It's a pretty
Yeah,
honest
I
review.
didn't see that
Fantastic.
come up. And that kind of weird because I'm subscribed to his channel, so I gotta check it out. Harry's also gone on them a little bit, like with that convertible Mustang. I mean, how they inverted the
Right.
motor, and just there's a lot of things. The XK Electric is, I don't know, they're just lost now, I guess.
Yeah, it's okay. I mean, like, I won't say that every stock car company does things right and does things wrong. I know Skelectric's done a good job in that, winding up their lineup, and maybe it's a little bit more diverse than maybe Carrera lineup or other people's lineup, right? Because I think when you look at NSR, you look at Scale Auto, they're very performance based. They don't do like the movie cars and the little extra cars. And that's cool for some people or collectors, right? But when you're representing a car in a specific livery, right? Then I think you have to be true to form. Otherwise, you're asking for trouble, I think.
Right.
Because you cannot represent a car by just cutting corners, especially when you release a render of the car that is true to form, and then the actual car that comes out is not. I totally disagree with what they did there, and I think it was great that Dave brought that out and talked about it. So.
Well, XK Electric, remember, it's basically their mindset. It's a toy, whereas the other companies, they are for the hobbyists.
Yeah.
That's between the two, and unfortunately, that's why they don't care. They're just gonna shove it out there, and here's our product. Kids play with it, but they don't. They just don't really cater to the hobbyists.
Yeah, but
that's why they don't replace it.
the thing is though, that the car that he's talking about, I mean, they didn't release that car for kids. Let's just be honest.
I know. I agree with you on that one. But that's,
I mean, that car
whoever
is
is
for
running Electric that's the, nothing against the British, but once they get stuck on their mind on doing something, man, they do it. It's just, they stay the course. I don't think they think of a lot of things like that, but you're correct about that. If they didn't make a render of a car as to like a race car that actually races, then I agree. They should be to the T on that and not cut corners. So you're totally right about that.
Yeah, for all of you guys who are wondering, I'm actually putting the link to Dave's video in the chat right now.
Yeah.
That's the YouTube link to Dave's video. If you haven't watched it, you can watch it. It's an important thing to talk about from a hobbyist perspective, I think. So I think it's something that we should talk about. But once again, the script was so well written. The explanation of the history of that racing, it was very informative. I think I cannot say anything but a well done job by Dave to, kind of bring us in. He told the story, brought us in, explained to us the background of that racing series, explained to us the importance of that car. I think I would have the same passion if it came to like a rally car that was done at the same level, like what I grew up with. If I saw a car that was misrepresented, I would be upset too. So yeah, totally. Especially when you pre-order something based on a render that you've seen that's accurate, and then you get it and you're like, what? It's almost like being, hoodwinked or catfished or whatever they call it. So
catfished.
Yeah.
Well, the one thing I really loved about the video was you got to see Dave's passion for slot cars and racing, and that was the beauty of that video for me. I was like, yeah, man, this guy gets it. He loves the hot rods and loves racing and loves slot cars, and that was important to him. And when it failed him, it hurt. And I'm not sure that slot car companies even think about that, but I think good companies think about that.
Like Dave is saying right here in this comment, it was from the heart, and he wanted us to understand exactly why it was important, and I got it.
Yeah, I did too.
So I wasn't like, I thought that was a well done video, and we applaud you for that. Thank you so much for doing that. I think we need more of this in the hobby if we want to grow as a community and get better as a community, and force people to look at us seriously and not look at this as toy cars, because sometimes it's easy to get it's toy cars, yes, but when you start to deal with at the hobbyist level, it's not, right? We're a bit passionate about cars, right?
Yeah
That's
right.
Especially when a car like that, like it's not a series that people will run often. It's a very collector's edition kind of car, right? So yeah.
Dave, I'm sorry I didn't see it. Now I feel like a heel because I don't know why I didn't alert me to it. I always like looking at his stuff.
Well, that's okay. Like I get, like we all, like there's so many videos that come out every week, and we're not all gonna watch it. But the good thing about this is we draw attention to it. Please watch go to the link, watch Dave's channel, subscribe to Dave's channel. He does a lot of positive things for the community. He always shouts out everyone's channel. I really appreciate that. I think all of us appreciate that, and continue doing a great job, Dave. Thank you so much. All right, so this week we don't have any guests, so we're gonna jump into the topic for tonight, and it's a big topic, right? I think Marty had a pretty big epiphany this week with his track and the layout. So Marty, I'll let you take it away and tell us what led you to this decision today.
Yeah, so I guess when you make the decision to buy a plastic track, Carrera, Scalextric, Polycar, Scale Auto, whatever that is, there is a freedom in that you don't get with a wooden track. And like I have a desire to maybe have a wooden track one day, but right now I've got a plastic track, and the beauty of that is you can change that anytime you feel like the layout's not suiting you. And that's kind of what we've discovered over the last, 3 or 4 weeks. We went out and raced, my brother Dusty and John Mark and I, we went out and raced at Cincy Slots, and then we got invited to a home track. It was a 4-lane track, and trust me, I did a bunch of 4-lane designs after running on the 4-lane track. But I think that it really made us think about our transition from digital to analog racing, and the transition from magnet to no magnet racing. And so different layouts really lend themselves to either or both. And so what I was trying to come up with is the changes. I started recognizing problems with my current layout, and so I went down the rabbit hole. Thanks to our buddy Jamie. He sent a handful of designs that he came up with based on my layout size, and then I took those designs and just started manipulating and changing and dreaming about what we wanted. And I feel like we came up with a pretty decent plan, and I've got it behind me. So
Okay.
but it might change.
So, did you want to go through like some of the images that you sent over?
Sure, we can.
Yeah.
Whatever I can talk about, whatever you throw up. So that you don't.
Yeah. I
have to
don't
put
know
any
if they're
kind
in
of
order, but we'll figure it out bit
Oh,
by
you're right.
bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, is
Yeah.
this your
So
final
this is one of
layout?
the design. No, that is not. This is just one of the layouts that Jamie sent me, and I recreated it. I use an online planner called Softyban. It's actually softyroyal.de is the web address.
Okay.
I can actually
German, huh?
put it. Yeah, and it's German, and Google, like Chrome will
Translate it.
will translate it for you, and it's not that difficult to understand. It's pretty basic, but it is it's great for a Carrera track, and it's free, and it does a nice job. It's got a library of all of the track available for Carrera. So this wouldn't help you if you were Polycar or Scalextrics or whatever, but since I'm Carrera Digital, this is where we started. And basically, my layout is 8 feet wide, 24 feet long, which should be 240 centimeters wide and 732 centimeters long, for those of you that are metric. So that's what I'm dealing with. It's a lot of space, but I've got two obstacles on my table. I've got a corner here that I've cut off to help get around some plumbing that I have in the basement. And then I've got a support pole that's kind of lands in the middle of the table.
Okay.
So I have to be careful with that because it could cause me problems. And but yeah, this was one of the first designs he sent, and I liked it, but I kind of leaned. I kind of went away from it mainly because the two turns on the right hand side that would fall off the edge of the table, and it really created kind of a marshalling issue. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me go to another image.
Yeah,
I
go
have a
to
whole
another
bunch that
image.
you sent me. So
Yeah, I think I sent like 6 or 7. So
yeah, I think we'll go. I think this is. Is this the one that's
yeah,
your
okay.
final?
So this is one that no, not my. It's not my final, but it really does. It gets close.
Okay.
I liked what was going on in the right hand side, but that big roundhouse turn, I felt like I could add a little more in that space.
Yeah.
That's a big long turn. I liked it, but I felt like I was losing a lot of track space. But it gave me lots of ideas of what I wanted to do. So if you look at the right hand side, I pretty much kept the track like that, but I kind of changed the left hand side of that layout. So
Okay.
yeah,
I'll
So
throw
you
up
go to-
another one. I'll just keep on
Okay.
throwing them up. You tell me
that's right.
about them, because
Okay.
you sent quite a few images here.
Yeah. Again, I was pretty excited about when I made the decision. So okay, this is the final layout as of yesterday.
Okay.
And so that the big S turn on the left-hand side of that layout, that is a turn that I love at Cincy Slot's layout.
Okay.
So I really liked that turn. It's a fun turn. It's kind of challenging because you really come into it with a lot of speed. You've got that big wide 415 turn at the top, and then you come down the table into that big S. And it's a 230. It's pretty. You can carry a lot of speed through it, but it is tricky. You really have to. It's a good braking zone. I just really liked it, so I implemented that into the table. And there's another version of that has a different turn coming down the front straight, a little wider turn, and I had to dealing with some overlap. So I had to make some changes. And I put this layout. This is what's on my table behind me right now, and we've run about 100 laps on it, and
Yep.
I absolutely love it. But it does have some issues. The one issue is the upper right-hand corner. The way I've cut that angle at the table,
Yeah.
it's
This track,
right at the edge.
so that
yeah.
track just sits at the edge.
Yeah,
It
it sits at the
does it
edge. It's pretty.
overhang or is it in
It's
the tip?
it does overhang slightly,
Yeah.
and that's not a huge problem. I just the concern is of putting a border around my table. It would not fit inside that border, so
Right.
so I've got two places where the track kind of
Yeah.
overhangs, and so I've got
Uh,
to get creative on how I contain the track. Um, but
You
the
could put
big
a
thing
piece
is,
of plywood extension on that, like a small one, just to support it and to that corner. You're talking about that corner that's hanging off, right?
yeah. On the
yeah, well,
left
there's
edge,
one
you
there at
have
the bottom
one.
left.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then also on this upper right hand edge,
Yeah.
it's right at the edge because it's not shown in this, but the table is cut at like a 45 to cut the corner so that you can get around the table because I've got my plumbing. I don't. You probably can't see it on this. Yeah, you can.
So
I've got that
Slaughter
plumbing
says
stack.
that R1 turn on the left isn't nice for non-mag in the middle of those R2s.
Yeah.
I guess he's
Yeah,
talking
so-
about this one.
Point them out with the pointer, Raul. Do you have like a mouse pointer?
I don't have a mouse pointer. That's the problem. Let's see.
Oh.
Yeah, so coming down the front stretch where the start finish line is, going into that right hander, Dave's talking about that R1, which is that orange. It's the only R1 in the full R1 in the whole layout. And so I'd sent this to Dave because you can actually copy and paste the link in this software, which is not really software, it's browser based, and
Right.
send it to somebody else and they can actually manipulate it. And so actually Dave about a half an hour, 45 minutes ago, sent me an updated version of, he thought, hey, here's some changes I think you should make to get rid of that R1 turn, because it is a challenge. You really got to get on the brakes for that R1. And so he actually softened that with a 230 and then kind of corrected my problem in the upper right hand corner. So actually, let me take a snapshot of it and I'll send it to you, Raul. So I may try this layout just because I can. And so here's the changes that he recommended.
You send it to me via. Yeah?
Yep, I just sent it.
Okay. So I'm just gonna give me 1 second. I'll bring it up.
And I'm kind of liking it because it fixes the problem I have at the upper right hand corner, and then it eliminates all the R1s, which is 1.5 in that layout.
Okay. Let me bring that up. Give me 1 second here.
Yeah.
Not this one.
So I mean, no, not that one. It's the last one I just sent you.
Okay.
So like I guess when you're planning out your layout, map out your table, and then think about marshaling. My previous layout had like 3 bridges, and those become marshaling issues anytime there's a turn underneath that bridge, right? So you really have to think about.
This is the one, right, Marty?
Yep. So
Okay.
Dave made that change on the right hand side.
Yeah. So that eliminates that edge. That you
Yeah, it
have,
eliminates
right?
that edge, and it eliminates the R1 out of that left hand turn at the end of the front straight. So it softened that. Even though those turns are all 230s, there's no real change. I still kind of like that, so I might play around with that. It might fit the table slightly better, and I don't know. I'm kind of liking it, and it maintained the S turns through the middle. And I'll be honest with you, we ran 100 laps. That is so much fun flying down through those S turns in the middle.
Those are cool. Because when you show me that video, you guys going through that, I go, that's nice. That really lets you really tune a car properly, because you'll have to swing through those, and that'll really help you out.
And it's such a great rhythm section. Like, it really tests your rhythm. Like, you can creep through it and make it through, just fine. But if you really want to take it with some speed, there's a lot of rhythm in your throttle going through there, and it makes it a lot of fun. It really is a lot of fun. So that might be the change that I make, just to test it and see. But I really like the layout the way it is. But I might play with this just to see eliminated those R1 turns. Yeah, I mean, great job, Dave. appreciate your help on that. That was fun.
Yeah, we got
But
some footage.
I'm up
of,
for some critique.
Yeah, let's throw some footage up of Marty on his track here. Let me see if I can get this. Hey, we're doing this on the fly though, so bear with me if it's
Yeah, you're. Yeah, I'll keep talking about it while you're getting it up there.
I have experimented with that earlier. It worked pretty good.
Yeah, so I mean, I just think that when you those are things that you either maybe didn't think about. I mean, listen, if you have a smaller table, you're not going to be able to get away without getting rid of all your R1 turns. You just don't have the space. You need the tighter turns to make it fit, unless you have 25 feet of track.
Yeah.
But
so this is Marty zipping around.
This is John Mark running the first laps in one of George's Porsches, which are a Carrera 917K that have been tuned really well, and they do have magnets. So
yeah, that S thing's cool. How the S turns are nice.
It is fun, and it's a lot of fun with no mags. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
By the after about 20 or 30 laps, we really started to settle in with no mags, and the beauty of this layout is both lanes are pretty even. They are in distance, but even driving, like you can get pretty close to lap times in either lane. So I'm really happy with how that turned out.
So
because
how important is
layout,
it for you to have even lanes on your track?
Well, I think that you don't have to be exactly even, but the only way you're going to get even is to have some type of overpass, underpass, right? The track has to cross over itself to get even lane length.
So John Albright asks, Marty, can you mount a 6 to 8 inch high strip of polycarbonate around the top right corner? If you go 1/8, it's flexible enough.
Yeah, I think so. And John, that's actually what I was considering, is getting a big piece of Lexan and kind of wrapping it around so that, one, you can see through it, and two, it would protect cars from flying off. And it's a great idea.
Yeah.
We need to get John on here is what we need to do. John be a good person to get on live if he was willing to do it.
I agree.
Well,
so yeah, I'm super happy with the layout, but it might not be finished. There might be some tweaks that I need to make. I'm going to try Dave's suggestion just to see how that changes the layout. From a digital standpoint, I added the pit lane that comes in off of the end, and that's kind of fun. We were playing around with digital last night, and I liked having a big long pit lane, mostly because every time I'm in the pits, somebody usually comes in and hits me. So it's nice having a big long pit lane.
yeah.
Maybe we could get Dave to come on since he's the one that helped out with that. See if Dave would come on and kind of, if he's wanting to.
Yeah, Dave, and I thought if Jamie was on, he could jump on too, because he was the one that really helped get the baseline of that layout.
Yeah, That'd be good to hear from them what their take is too. How you got to this point.
Yeah, it's cool. But that's the fun part about plastic track is being able to manipulate it and move it around and make changes. If there's a turn you're having problems with, then you can manage that. You can kind of work around it. Yeah. But you are a slave to your table size, though, for sure.
Yeah, 100%. Sunday Slascar says even lanes is very important because it helps his fastest car from dominating. So,
yeah, I agree. It's nice to have even lanes.
Yeah. John Albright says your layout looks great. So good job, Marty.
Yeah, thanks, John.
Yeah. So how do you feel? Like you've been racing your old layout for a while now. Was it over 3 months, 4 months?
About 4 months, yeah.
How does it feel to have a new layout? First of all, what did it feel like tearing down your old layout? And then
I posted a video of tearing down the old layout, and it was a little sad because we'd raced a lot of laps on it and we were getting pretty good on that layout.
Yeah.
But it was definitely a layout that was not helping us practice for other tracks. So
Let's be honest, and practicing for Cincy's tracks.
well, yeah, I think we wanted to improve down there and not waste time running laps on mine,
Right.
on my layout. But I think that my layout was definitely built. This last layout was definitely built for magnetic racing, and it had some trouble spots. I kind of highlight that in the video. I had a couple marshalling places that were tough. Cars came off underneath the bridge, and that was a pain. There was some tough reaches from one side of the table, and so I wanted to improve on some of that, and this layout does.
Right.
That's a blind spot's what you had. It's because you couldn't see
Yeah.
underneath what was going on.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, George and I talked about that. I like from the end, the far end, there were two complete large blind spots that you didn't even see the end of the table.
Yeah, and I think that's very important for a club track where you're racing. I think line of sight to your car is so important. And I think that's something that, like, that's tip number one for me when if you're building a club track. Make sure that every marshalling point has either equal blind spots or because it's fair if it's equal. But if it's like on certain marshalling zones, you can't see half your track, it's a problem because you're racing blind.
Yeah.
So that's a big deal. Two is like and then I think it comes down to raised sections and bridges, I think, right? That's where you get a lot of blind spots when you're raising and you're dropping your track. So, limit that when you're doing club races. But when you're doing your own track, private track, where it's all time trial based maybe, and everybody's staying in one position, I think you can have some variation in layout at that point. It's funny because MP was here and we're talking about everyone's got the itch already. I think right now everyone's got the itch to change their layouts, and for MP it's even harder because he has so much terrain built into his layout, right? And now he wants to make an adjustment, and kind of get more speed coming off of his top corner coming down to the front straight. And what he's trying to do is push out his top corner further out and pull back into the front straight, almost in a 45-degree angle to get that speed coming out. And for him, it's harder because he has that cliff edge that he created with all the rocks and stuff, and he has to like lift that up, push it out, and then create a new terrain. He has to sculpt terrain to kind of fit that in, right? So it's much easier when you have tracks with no fixed terrain to do that, but when you have tracks that have terrain built in, it gets very difficult. And so that's something that he has to deal with right now. But everyone, I was talking to him tonight because we're talking about, like, even for myself, I started with my DDT layout. It's the track that I run for all my YouTube. When I had my big racing track, which was 24/8, I never really thought too much about my DDT. It was just a means to an end. Grab a car, test it on the track, record the information. But for the last 6 months since I took down the big track, my DDT track is my primary, and it's become boring. After a while it gets boring to even do, like, car reviews become a little bit monotonous because it's the same track. It's not as exciting. Yeah, the car is exciting, but it's not as exciting to drive the track. So when you started talking about your layouts, I started thinking about my layout and what could I do to improve it? What could I do to change it? And it kind of takes you down that rabbit hole. But what happens is, I think once again, you have to be like, when I built the DDT layout, it had to be turns and straight out of the starter set. So you're only limited to R1s, right? R1s and straights. So the track has very tight turns and the second thing I wanted no bridges. I wanted the track to be able to, when you captured the cam from the top, there's no hidden sections of the track. So when I look at my DDT, it actually lives up to what it's supposed to do. It's a simple, tight turn. Anyone can build it. 16 straights, I think 14 R1s and 16 straights. That's what you need to build my track. Very simple to do. Anyone can replicate it. And the whole reason for that was trying to build this ecosystem where anyone could replicate that track at home and try and get the lap times, right?
Right.
So when last week we were very blessed, like Boone jumped on and we're talking about terrain, and this week, because I had the itch to go and revisit my layout, I did a couple of different layout changes and I sent it to you guys, right? And it was more variation of the same, like a couple of shallow S's and some tracks. The one with the shallow S has equal lane travel length. But for me, it doesn't really matter because I'm the only one running one car on the outside lane. It doesn't really matter. We don't race on this track. So when Boone looked at it, he looked at the 3 different layouts I sent to him, and he looked at my original layout. He came back to me and said, there's nothing wrong with your layout. Stay with it. Just elevate it. And that was a simple solution. Just take one section of the track, one turn, and raise it. And what it does is it will add a little bit more, give your track more of a dynamic feel. And that's exactly what I did. And it's changed the track a bit. It's a little bit exciting. I carry more speed now down the back straight, so the cars get to open up a bit more. And the only other thing that I'm going to change probably is where it feeds off the top back straight, coming back down into the 180 degree turn. We're going to turn it into a 45 and bring it down to the front straight. So I carry more speed down that back loop and coming back in. But otherwise the track's going to stay the same, and it's just going to have a little bit of elevation. So there's sometimes you can do simple things to make the track feel better, maybe. And that's something that, I was lucky to, have input from you guys and Boone. I think that's the good thing about the community. There's always people that are going to be able to give you some input, right?
Yeah, it's a big help. Like being able to send my layout to Dave and let him take a look at it was fantastic.
Yeah. Slaughter says my lanes have 5% difference in length, but that difference is all in 2 large radius bands, so the longer outside lane is compensated pretty well by the increased corner speed onto the straights. So James Red says your layout looks fantastic. Do you guys know if there's any new technology for competitive pace car for racing alone or practicing alone? Ghost cars.
Yeah, Ghost cars. If you have a digital, you could run like if it's 132, you could run like 5 other Ghost cars with you. Yeah. Kids love that. They love that because they could smash them, and that's the thrill. I have a lot of videos. Again, I think my grandkids love doing that. That's why those 917s are great cars, because they're durable. They don't have mirrors or nothing.
Yeah.
They can get smacked around.
Yeah, 100%. Just put on Ghost cars. Like 3 or 4 Ghost cars will also cause you to, you have to avoid lane changes, because Ghost cars change lanes randomly, and also it makes you more accustomed to predicting when things are going to happen or which lanes to change into and out of. So yeah, 100%.
Harry's here, and he just made a comment right there. You post that out, what he says.
Yeah, Harry from Home Racing World says, just remember, don't lose sleep over equal lane length. There's always a fast lane no matter what you build, which is correct.
That is correct. Which is why I don't, I think it would be fun to have a 4-lane track, but I'm not sure that digital racing with 4 lanes would be that great, because you still have one lane that will always be the fastest lane and everybody will hang out there.
Yeah, well, I think the cool thing, like Sunday Slot Cars runs a lot of 4-lane racing, right? Digital.
Yeah.
Personally, if I'm running digital, honestly, I would not run a 4-lane track unless you have like, I've never seen a need to run a 4-lane track. Normally when I'm running digital, we have 4 races at all times running. We enjoy the tightness of a 2-lane track. It allows you to account for undercutting. There's a lot of, I think it makes for tighter, exciting, more crashing, obviously, but the racing is a lot more fun, I think, on a 2-lane with 4 to 5 people. We've had up to 5 people racing on our 2 lanes track, and we've had a lot of fun. As long as you have a good system in place for crashing and for penalties, if I think is really important. So Harry says, racer lane rotation for race format, 100%.
Yeah.
I mean, with
Yep.
digital, I mean, you all have the ability to race on the inside track, right? Like if it's a faster lane,
right.
just switch to the inside lane. But then traffic becomes an issue, and crashes become an issue. If there's a pile up, right?
You're gonna stop when the track calls.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and I think I think that's where if your car's faster, you can make passes and get around, and that's the fun of digital racing, right? But if you're racing analog, like what Harry's talking about, that's how you run an analog race. Everybody gets a race in each lane, and it's a round robin.
Yeah. So we were talking about this a lot in terms of digital. Marty, as you're racing more and getting more competitive, you're moving away from the digital landscape, right? You're going more into the analog landscape. You've removed all the chips from all the analog cars that you chipped up, and you've gone straight analog. You've removed the magnets. And this is the progression of becoming a more serious racer, right? As you get more serious, now those things become more important. Removing magnets, getting into analog racing, drifting around tracks, it becomes more important. But the truth is, digital, when run in its purest form, stock digital cars, it can create a different sort of excitement altogether. Because when you're using the pit lanes, the weather, the fuel, it becomes an exciting way of racing, right? If you watch F1, the undercut is a very important thing. And when we race digital, the undercut becomes even more important because fuel, you can run your car at high fuel levels for more speed in the beginning, but you have to pit a lot more. So there's a lot of these interesting variations that come with digital racing. So
Raul, you forgot one thing.
Well, yes, scratch building, but you can build a digital scratch build car.
Oh yeah, you can.
Nothing stops you from there.
Put a chip on it. You can do. I'm planning on doing it. Just haven't got around to it.
Yeah. So at Cincy Slots, they run one analog race and one digital class every Thursday night. So digital is still a big part of what we do. I love to race digital. I make no bones about that. But you're right. As you progress in the hobby, since I started out in digital, I'm experiencing analog in a new way that's been fun and exciting. But yeah, we're definitely. I mean, I built this thing to race digital on, so.
So I really like this.
No, I'm sorry to interrupt, Raul. But remember what you said, Mario? That was one thing he said. He was like, "Well, I'm kind of getting boring, kind of getting bored," which it's true because from when I started doing the digital on this, and after then the tech slot boxing, I was excited about that. But after a while, there's so much you can only do with digital, and you do want what it is. You want to branch out to do other things, and like Harry says right there, fun of the hobby, just the different approaches, and that's a very true aspect. Everybody has a different approach to the hobby. People will do die-cast cars and make them in the HO cars. I mean, there's guys that do that.
Well, Marty, this is an interesting thing that Thought R puts up here. It says, run your ghost cars with magnets and run non-magnet yourself.
That's right. Yeah, that's what I've started doing, pulling the magnets out of some of my favorite digital cars and running. Yeah, I mean that's what I could do to not get bored. So.
Yeah.
And then Harry says, "Oh well, no magnets. Get ready for a few wheels and axle purchases."
That's right.
Yeah.
This is true.
See, there's a lot of things going on in the chat here. Sorry, I'm just trying to catch up.
I have to throw this out. Sunday slot car. Yep, you fooled me. With the fake Mario and Luigi.
With the fake Mario and Luigi.
You got me.
Only you, Marty. Only you.
That's right. Hey, Gene. Welcome.
What's up, Gene?
Yeah. So we open it up to the floor. If you guys got any questions, let us know. If you have any questions about track layouts, spaghetti builds. Hey, spaghetti, like something Boone said to me was really cool because when I was talking about my layouts, he's like, listen, he's like, Some people like spaghetti bills. Some people like flowing, turning tracks. Some people like lots of elevation. It's like you got to be true to what you like and build what you like. And that's the most important. If you like to put all the track on the table, go ahead and do it. If that's what excites you and that what makes you feel happy, that's the whole part of the hobby. It's to express yourself in your own way about in this hobby. And and that's important for everyone to understand here. You may see track layouts that are, very wavy, very flowy, but you might not have that space. So you got to get more creative and create bigger tracks in a smaller space, which will lead to spaghetti layouts sometimes, right? But, it's up to you to race them, to find out what you like, what you don't like, and then reiterate and change the track at certain points. And you get better, and you get better flowing track. I mean, Dave from Slot R did that with his track, where he had a curve going to a straight to another curve, and he switched that up and went into all R2s and got a smoother finish. But it takes time. You're never gonna get it on your first try sometimes, and it's important to just experiment and get to a comfort zone that you feel is comfortable for you and your driving skills, right? So Slaughter, Revos are great. I always enjoy running Revos. Oh yeah, talking about cars. Anyone get new cars?
Yeah,
New
the
cars
quality car.
That was a great video. That's a good looking car.
Come on, George.
Yeah,
you got to show us that car.
You mean run it? I can run it. I got a camera on here.
Yeah.
Harry did a follow-up video, which was good on that too. On that front axle and everything. Here, I'll just sit down. This is what's nice about this. I can sit down and play with it.
Hey Marty, everyone's telling you to keep on going with the no mag. You're gonna get tuning to a pro very soon, and I believe it too.
I'm getting there. Figuring it out.
There she goes. Nice looking car though. I think it's a fantastic car.
Yeah, it looks good, man.
Oh yeah, this is an interesting question from Shotgun Dave. Have any of you tried to duplicate an actual racetrack like Laguna or RIR, something along those lines? Has anyone done that?
I've not done that, but I know that the Carrera official Instagram site keeps doing that with lots of different tracks.
They have Laguna Seca and I think Daytona and Talladega. They have a couple different ones.
Yeah.
So talking about tracks, do you guys have a favorite Rail World track?
So you're talking about an actual racetrack that?
Yeah.
To me, it would be, I would say in Laguna Seca. I've been to that one.
Okay.
That's a nice one. And Sears Point, they call it Infineon, but I call it Sears Point. That's another one where they do the NASCAR. That I've been to that a lot. That one could be a drag strip, and then they change it to a road course. It's those two tracks are cool.
Yeah. So yeah, my bucket list is to race Laguna. I've never raced Laguna. I've raced Watkins Glen. I've raced a couple of tracks, like all the Ontario tracks, but I've never raced Laguna, and that's my favorite track. The corkscrew, I love that corkscrew. So, yeah. What about you, Marty?
I've been to a handful of tracks here in the U.S., but I would like to. Man, there's so many great. I mean, Le Mans would be awesome to go watch a race there. But I've been to Mid Ohio. I've been to Indianapolis. I've been to Indianapolis when it was a road course. So where else have I gone? I've been to Bristol, which is a small oval. I've been to Michigan, which is a large oval track. But yeah, there's a lot of great tracks out there. Laguna Seca obviously is one that would be amazing to go to. I'd like to go to Sebring. I think that would be fantastic to go watch a race there.
Yeah, Slaughter Spa is really cool. Nürburgring, obviously. I think Nürburgring is every. If you're a car enthusiast, you want to race in the ring. I've never
Yeah.
been. Riverside. Let's see. We got a lot of, like here in Ontario, Motorsport, the Canadian Tire Motorsport track, is our like a local GT3 track, which is I've raced a couple of times with my wide body Charger, and that's pretty cool because it has these really big drops. So you get blind corners. You're going from 10 stories up, down, up 8 stories, down again 8 stories, and then to a curve. It's really, you just have to plant your car, pick your point, and just hold the steering wheel and let the car do the work because you can't see the drop behind the corner. It's pretty cool. So yeah, it'd be awesome to run a couple of nice tracks in the United States, if I ever got down to it. But yeah, so that's pretty cool.
Let's see. Looks like there's a handful of people who would like Riverside.
Yeah.
And
So, historic track.
there's a
I think-
lot of scenery for Riverside from Sluckart, the Scenics. They
Yeah,
have
he does
a lot of
duplication.
buildings.
Racetrack Scenics
Yeah.
has a lot of stuff from Riverside, the signs and all that, and towers.
Yeah. Which is pretty cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this corkscrew
I'm-
for Laguna Seca is really hard to produce in a slot car track. I've tried.
Yes, it sure is. Beatnik says Monaco, which is one of the places I think it would be awesome to go watch
Mhm.
Monaco. But I always hear
Yeah.
bad things about it. It's not a great spectator place. It's great on TV, but not great to be there in person.
Slaughter's right about that one. You never get a nomad car down a slot corkscrew.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Not gonna work well.
No, it wouldn't.
Jim Anthony won 2008 Supercar Grand Nationals there in Mid
That's
Ohio.
great, Jim.
Great.
Yeah, Mid Ohio's a great course, and it's not that far from me. About an hour and a half.
Oh, close by.
Yeah, so the floor's open, guys. If you want to talk about stuff, let us know. Otherwise, we're chilling out a bit here. Any questions about track layout, let me know. Hey, George, we never came to why you built your track in that configuration. We never talked about that.
Well, that I built it. That one I built in California, in Gilroy, and I laid it out on the floor. And for some reason, I just laid it out that way because I just like the straight and the sweep, and in the back corner how it comes off. I would say the only trouble spot for marshalling would be the center of the track, which would be the second turn there. That goes right there because you have to would have to use grabbers. But the rest of the track pretty much flows. I didn't really come up with a plan or anything, but somebody did mention that there's a track in Australia. Maybe somebody could say this or could comment, whoever's from Australia. There is a track that's similar to this that looks like that is in Australia that has these sweeps. I can't think of the name. And there's another guy also who actually duplicated this track, and I'm kind of flattered. I can't remember his name. He sent me a picture of it because he liked my layout, and he did duplicate what I got. I think he's in Australia also, or England. I can't remember, but he sent me pictures and said, "Hey, I liked your layout, so I made the same thing." I really didn't. It was nothing planned. I just came out of my head. You know,
Right.
It's not like I'm going to do it this way, or it's just something a thought. Oh, and
So
then it
Sunday
just
Slug Cars talked about an AFX 4-lane track. I actually ordered this. I'm still waiting for it, but I ordered it because you can replicate the 23 Formula 1 tracks, or something like 17 or 16 of them. So it would be a perfect way to do a Formula 1 series. I was thinking about doing it, so I actually ordered one in. I'm just waiting on it. But 100%, this
Cool.
AFX 4-lane can build multiple real-world tracks. So Beatnik Classic says my layout is perfect for mag and non-mag racing. Great drift track. If you can send us, I don't know how they would get in touch with us, but we should have, maybe I'll create a form where people can submit their track layouts and we can bring them up.
Yeah, that'd be a good idea right there, because a
That'd be
lot of
fun.
people will throw their track layouts up there.
Yeah.
See the different ones of what everybody does. Somebody mentioned coffee. By the way, Marty, excellent coffee. Thanks to Roast Coffee. That's good. That was some good stuff, man. So we're still drinking in the morning. My wife loved it. So.
And Harry says your track was designed by ancient aliens, George.
Oh, what did it say? I didn't see that.
Yeah, that's great. See, I like George. I like Georgia's scenery because the scenery doesn't really get in the way.
Well,
but it
modular
adds
scenery.
so much to the
Right.
character.
And that's something that Boone was talking to me about.
That
So
end
how-
piece of that modular scenery is from Harry.
Yeah.
He gave me that. He had that for
Nice.
a while, and that's a cow. That is, I don't have it on right now because I have the wrong transformer for it. I'm trying to find the right one because it gets too hot. The plug, the pack.
Yeah.
But it's a cow and a farmer pulling the cow, and it's trying to suck it up to the ship. So I'll send a picture to you guys, but it's funny watching it move because the farmer's trying to pull his calf back, and then on the top of it has U.S. steak, we take you, or something like that. I can't remember, but it's got a reference up there to meat.
All right, George, I'm going to ask you, why did you choose an aliens theme for your track?
So my mom lives in Gilroy still, and when we stayed with her, helped her out and to save up to move to North Carolina and buy a house, the space number is 51. So I believe it was a few years back before I moved over there, a tornado actually touched down just in hers and flipped the carport thing up on the roof. It didn't do any other damage. It's like a small weird thing and flipped it up. And I just picked up the name Area 51 because the number 51, and because I'm a science fiction fan, so I like a lot of science fiction. So I thought it was just the alien part of it. It worked in well with the theme. Thinking of the spaceships on the track, army guys recovering a crashed ship. That's how I got the idea from it, man. And also because her space was 51, it just popped into my head. So that's why.
It's cool though. Nice theme. That's another thing I was just getting into. We look at scenery for tracks, and it's all realistic. And I was thinking about doing a sci-fi or apocalypse kind of theme for a track.
War of the Worlds.
Yeah, yeah. I told you I came from background of wargaming, and we have these sci-fi figures and sci-fi scenery. It's really very detailed, but it's kind of cool. So that's something that I was thinking about, and yeah, your track is kind of an inspiration for that as well. So
Cool. I like it because you're good at doing that. I've seen the gantry you did. That looks great. So if you have a lot of experience of doing small figures like that, you doing scratch building and doing the heads of the drivers should be pretty easy for you, because I find that a little bit tough to really get that down good, and it's taken me a while. Interiors took me a while to deal with, so you should be pretty sharp on that because you have the experience with the wargaming stuff.
yeah, shout out to Harry, because he does really cool car videos, and Marty's just said excellent video on the Ferrari 512M. I agree. He inspires me when I do my videos. By the way, I do watch and research a lot of videos before I do my videos. And Harry is definitely one of the places where I go to and I type in, because it's good to go. I always find I get information about the history of the vehicle, because sometimes when you get a vehicle, you just don't know the history, and it's good to research. And I go through a lot of reviews, and Harry is definitely a touch point. So thank you, Harry, for doing a great job.
Yeah, that was a great video. I want one of those Ferraris.
You need a truer.
Well, that's the problem. I need too many things. But
Yeah?
yeah, I
Yeah,
definitely.
the tire truer is probably the most sorely tool we need in this hobby. I'm glad it's here.
Yes.
So it's something that
Yeah.
now people, and it's so hard to show people that on film, on camera, because it was like, well, I have this tool, but you don't, so how are you going to do it? So it's nice that we finally got something like that.
Yeah, Slot Journal is asking who got their Shadow pre-ordered.
I do.
And Marty wrote me. George wrote you. I never ordered anything. I don't know.
Harry has been pre-ordered too.
Yeah. Raul has it ordered.
That's the anticipated car coming up. Everybody's drooling over that one, including myself.
Yeah.
Even Boone did. Boone saying he pre-ordered it also.
Yeah, it's definitely
Clint is
gonna be
asking
a
you a
popular
question,
car.
Marty. He says, Marty, okay, thanks. How did you mount them? I don't know what he's talking about. Maybe
He asked about the fences. I said I basically used like a heavy poster board, and then I took a printer paper or sticker paper and made the advertising stickers for it.
Yeah.
And I mount that with the mini binder clips. I just got at Walmart.
alligator clips, right? Not alligator, the little paper binders.
Little binder, paper binder clips. And I use that. Those work pretty well. I know last week we talked about Raul said you used 3M mounting tape on yours, and that works really well. So you have some options.
Yeah.
Boone.
So Sunday just sent us a
Drilling for
picture
the
of his
shadow.
new layout. So let's go there and have a look.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I watched his video. It's a 4-lane.
yeah, I'll bring it up so it's a little bit
Okay.
clearer. There
Billy,
you
is
go.
that your store?
I think I don't
That's
know
nice.
if this is Billy's store. Billy, is this your store? Let us know.
Yeah, that's a big 4-lane track.
That's a big track.
Yeah.
What's the size of this track?
Yeah. What's his layout size?
24 feet. That's big. It is big. Well, as Harry would tell me, if you're gonna be a bear, be a grizzly.
Yeah. Is this
Short
just for you and Amanda to race? Like, it's a kind of overkill. Just kidding.
How come it doesn't look like a Mario Kart track?
I don't know.
That's what I wanna know. Where's the
So
yellow
it is a
construction
store
paper?
track. It's a store track. How many people run on this track at one time Sunday? Let us know. And also tell us your footprint
Probably
size.
run 6.
Your power supply. What are you using for power supply?
Be a grizzly.
Yeah, we have lots of questions now.
Yeah,
Sunday,
you threw you threw us a bomb there.
Yeah. Yeah. Harry says be a grizzly.
Yep.
It
Be a
is.
grizzly.
It looks like it's pretty easy to tear down this track too because it's all on those folding tables. It looks like.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. I'd like to know like what the size is.
Yeah, and like that big bank turn would be so much fun.
He
racing
said it.
digital.
Okay, here he goes. Believe it or not, it's a 5x20. So 5 foot by 20 most of the way with the bank turn section on 6 foot wide. That's pretty nice.
Yeah.
Nice and thin and very. I like it. It's pretty good.
Yeah, good use of
Pretty-
space.
Yeah, very good use of space. Yeah. 5 out of 5 Sunday slot cars, not the 1 out of 5 that you gave me. I'll never forget. No, just kidding.
Oh, that was harsh.
He's running a stock power supply. We can run up to 6 people, but usually 4.
Usually
Yeah,
4.
usually there's.
Yeah.
You need a power supply if you want more.
Yeah.
Speaking of power supplies, let's talk about almost killed Raul's ears.
Yes. No, we don't need to talk about that.
On that view.
Yeah. It's all good, George. It's all good. George was getting all excited with his multi-camera setup. Just-
Yeah, the new camera looks good, George.
Yeah, that's the Z1. Thanks for the recommendation. That's a nice camera. So
It is a really nice camera.
experiment some more. I'll do some videos of that one instead of the iPhone. See how they come out.
Yeah.
The
Hey,
critique
Sunday,
has
it's
become
all good.
critique. The critiquers.
Yeah, the critique has become critique. No, we're all impressed. I'm impressed.
And Harry says, and there is a good use of aprons borders there. In my honest opinion, those are needed and should be included in design theory. That's he's talking about this.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, they just make you a poor person because it's just so expensive with a big layout. Oh my!
What,
We're getting
apron
there.
borders?
Oh, borders, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
borders in general, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I know. But you know what? Ever since I started ordering track, I started ordering the track with the borders now. Whenever I place an order, I just order it with the borders, and I just build it into that cost.
Right.
So, and when you start doing it in small quantities, it's not like, I think the initial hit is when you take your whole track and be like, oh, I got to fill this with borders, which I did. And then it's
Yeah.
thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
It's like
It's
right now
painful.
with terrain. My problem with getting terrain, right? But so now I'm looking at Carrera's pre-painted figures are not too bad given this price, and I can get them here pretty easy from Sunday Slot Cars. No plug, plugging.
He says you can make guardrail, and he has to that video where he made a guardrail. I've seen that video. That's a cool video.
Yeah,
Making
is
a
a good video.
guardrail.
I'm training my
Yeah,
Yankees right now on non-mag racing.
I really
Quite a
like
bit of
Boone's
fun.
guardrail. It looks great.
Yeah, I was talking to Boone about that. I'm building the jig for it because for the diorama. I'm still working hard on my diorama, Marty. I hope you are too.
That's good. Yeah, maybe.
We have two things that we're supposed to be doing right now, Marty.
I know.
One is building a scratch build car, and two is building a diorama. I'm holding you to this. Okay.
I am. I actually have a big a shopping cart full from Slot Car Corner of
Yeah.
building stuff.
There are a lot of guys that are starting to build cars. There's if you go to the home racing world forum, you see people that are first time builders. That's what I like the most. You guys first time building, that makes me excited because it's cool to see somebody make an attempt, and it becomes a very unique car, because it's your own creation.
They're sold out of the motor mount piece right now.
Oh, they'll get some in soon. I think he's been busy. If it still runs short, let me know. I have a few I could send you.
Daryl says Marty carried a whole mail bin full of track out on Thursday. Yes.
I did. Yes, I did. A bunch of track.
Sunday Slot Cars, always appreciate the shout out. Thank you. We need pictures of Lego City. Lego City is being built. I have 5 buildings built right now. Actually, more than 5, 6 buildings. The 7th one is almost complete. But it's a long ways to go. I have 50 plates to fill. So 15 out of 50 is not far enough. But it's coming together. I will take some shots of the Lego City with the slot car track running through it. So, yeah. Thank you.
Harry's going to take off. See you, Harry.
Thank you, Harry. All right. So, I don't know if there's anything else. We're about an hour through. Let us know if there's something you guys want to talk about. We'll run for maybe another 15 minutes and then we're going to call it a night tonight. But let us know. And if you want, and once again, guys, if you want to jump on a live stream like next week or something, just let us know in advance. If you can't message me or if you're in touch with Marty or George, just reach out to any one of us and we'll get that all sorted out and arranged. And we would love to have you guys on. Now, Slot R, you're in the UK. You said you can't jump on, but every week you are here live till the wee hours of the morning. So you should jump on
sleep.
live.
He's probably telling us Dave's not here. Dave's not here.
It's okay. You can be in your bed and still live stream.
That's
I
right.
mean, it doesn't stop, right?
That's right.
He says he can't come on, but I'm like, yeah, he's on every day, every week with us. Right?
I know. He always.
I like the
like
dedication
dreads the
though.
next day,
We
though.
appreciate it.
Yeah, we do.
Okay, what do we want to talk about next week? We talked about tracks this week. Always bring this up at the end, and everyone's like, "No, don't know what to talk about."
Yeah. What's next week's top?
asking,
Boone wants to know.
Next week's topic. What
Yeah.
have we not covered?
Oh, I don't think we need to worry about what we've covered, not covered. If you have something that you really want to
what
talk
have
about.
we not covered is what I meant. You got to think of what we have not covered. I know we've covered, a few things, but I'm sure there's something out there. Maybe somebody on the chat can bring a suggestion up.
Gladstone wants to know if you're building for Harry's.
Even
hot rod
Boone
deal.
wants to know what the next week's topic is. And
Yeah,
Slaughter R.
I answer that question. Yeah, I am. I'm actually building one for a video series to show everybody in it. I'll probably build 2 on my own off camera and start doing some different things. There's a lot of guys. Danny Wiley's his is coming out nice. I don't know if you've
Oh, this
seen
is
that.
an
His
important
posts have been
question,
great,
actually.
luckily.
Patrick Harper asks, "How tall are your guys' slot card tables off the floor?"
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah.
I think mine is 4 feet. Let me get a tape measure because I don't know for sure. Hold on, let me get a tape measure. I can give you an answer on this one.
Everyone's got to get measuring tapes. So you're going to get a live answer, Patrick.
$32 inches.
32 inches off the table, off the floor.
Yep.
Slot R
32
says his
inches,
34 inches.
Yeah, mine's actually 32 and a half with the.
3 feet.
Clint
1
is
inch.
33 inches.
3 foot 1 inch.
Yeah, so it sounds like
3 feet, so you're 37 inches for George.
Yep.
There you go. It's all around 30 to 37 so far.
it's 29. Yeah.
So something that I was talking actually today is talking about modular terrain. Was building the table low and then using terrain to sculpt different levels into it. So build it at knee height and then build up, and then you can have the track go under and up. So this is just an interesting conversation I had today with someone else in wargaming terrain building. Yeah.
How
I
about
think
we
that-
talk next week about lap counting programs or something like that?
Ah, yes, we
Tiny-
just got
tiny
the.
ones. That's
Yeah, we can
something-
do a smart race.
Yeah, there you go, Marty.
A complete
Yeah.
setup for smart race. If you can tear it down, like do it live, we can do like how you can set up a race, how you can add drivers, how you can add cars. If you can do a full like tutorial on smart race, Marty, that would be awesome.
Yeah, well, actually, I've been talking to Mark from Smart Race, so
Oh,
maybe we
cool.
can get him to come on.
Bring it on. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
It's in the middle of the night for him too. So he's in Germany, so it's in the middle of the night for him. But he
what's the
said
time
that he would
difference over there? Is like what, 12 hours or something? I
6
don't know.
hours.
So it's
6.
quite a while.
Well, he can jump on just to introduce himself, and then he can jump off, and then we can just go through a tutorial on smart race, setting it up, and then we can get questions in from the audience and see because
I
everyone
think
has
he's
like different
cool
ways
with-
to set up.
Yeah, he's cool with doing it. So,
Yeah.
so I'll see if that would work out for him. I'll let you know.
Patrick says, "Thanks everyone for chiming in. Building this table is just about as expensive as getting the track." Yeah.
Yeah, with
Well,
wood prices right
course.
now. I mean, there's some simple way to build tables though. So I think if you plan it out, you can maximize your dollar.
So Slaughter says he's got a short life hack tip for smart race video coming out next Wednesday. So yeah, we'll do our live stream on it, and then you can follow up and add to it. That would be great. Or you could just jump on live with us.
Yeah,
And do it
dude,
live.
totally.
Hey, there's one question. Slot Journal says, "Hey Marty, can you upload an existing car database into Smart Race? I hate typing on tablets." Yes.
Yes.
You can transfer. There is a backup database option, and you can back up the database, and you can send that file, through like Dropbox or something, and pick it up in another tablet. So, yes, I have moved mine twice to 2 different iPads. and it works flawlessly.
Yeah, so I think Smart Race is the question for next week, the topic for next week. We'll go through a full teardown of Smart Race and what you can do with it, what you need. We'll go through the hardware requirements. Yeah, and with maybe Marty, you can have your multi-camera Ecamm on, and then we can do like trackside demos.
Yeah.
We can
I'm gonna
figure it
follow
out.
along with
Mark-
you, Marty, because I need to learn the digital section as well. I haven't touched the digital of it. Only been
Okay.
messing with analog.
Yeah, no, that'd be great. And if Mark is able to jump on, he said that he would cover whatever we wanted to. So
Yeah.
he's probably would be great to show some type of digital demo.
Yeah, so from what I know is you run the main app onto an iPad, and then you can have multiple people with phones log into that iPad app through using the little
Connect that.
Connect app.
Yeah, it's
So you
Connect
get the
app, yeah.
Connect app, and you can just scan in the QR code that comes up on the iPad for the session, and your Connect app will give you all your details onto your phone. We use it for our racing. But like I said, next week will be a great thing. We'll just go through everything, how to, from scratch, set up Smart Race. And we'll cover as much as we can. And if you guys like it, we'll follow up with any answers to all questions. So thank you guys for helping us with the topic for next week. Yeah, and if you feel like there's other topics you want us to cover, please feel free to drop us comments. I respond to all comments, Marty as well. And I put it out, actually, when a comment comes through, I actually put it out to the group. We have a group chat, and we answer it together. So it's not just my answer, it's all of us answering. So we are always willing to talk to the community and help out as much as possible. So, yeah.
I'm gonna also do my own video on the tire tour. I have one should be here tomorrow, so I'll
Nice.
should kind of go over it, kind of follow up from Harry's, and just kind of experiment with it.
Yeah. Well, my tire tour from Overdrive
cool.
is doing really well. I like it a lot.
That's
It's
a good
almost
tire
the
tour.
same.
Nice.
It's pretty much identical, except yours, I think the chassis is 3D printed, right?
Yeah,
One-
it's all 3D printed.
Yeah.
And it's a little bit different, but it works. It works fine. Just
Yeah.
a different animal. The one I have is an old Razor with a, RC motor that circulates the plate.
Right.
I use that a lot for. I've been using it on rubber tires, and it works good if you get it real slow, and you use water. That's another thing we talk about the following week is tire touring. Not everybody's trying to get tire tours because that's a subject that nobody really is too familiar with because they don't have a tire tour. So that'd be
Right.
something to really talk about the following week or sometime.
Yeah. Ronan, welcome. We're kind of
Oh, yeah.
wrapping up here, but,
We're
but thank you for tuning in.
Yeah,
I'm
we
glad you
appreciate
could
it.
join. Yeah. Yeah, so I think
Yeah,
that
maybe I'll
was
have
it.
my tire tour by then.
Yeah. Oh, did you order yours from Home Racing World or?
Software.
I'm getting ready to.
Oh,
I
okay.
sold some stuff on Facebook Marketplace today. I was raising some slot
Clover Leaf is
slot
carrying
car
them
money.
also besides Slot Car Corner. I think somebody said they had sold out, but more came in. But I think Cloverleaf Racing has some as well.
Okay.
So if you go to, I don't think they don't. I'd have to look at Slot Car Corner if they ran out because
Okay.
they said they weren't fast.
Yeah. I figured they would.
Patrick, how can you get in touch with me without Facebook? What I'm going to do is I'm going to put up a web form on my website within the next 5 minutes, and you can contact me through there, and I'll have that as everyone's contact point. I think it's easier this way than trying to do it.
So there are still available from Slot Car Corner as well. So it doesn't say out of stock. So it seems they're active here.
Yeah.
So anybody wants to look at a tour, who's deeply getting into the hobby, with tires and all that, it helps though big time. Even with cars you get out of the box, if you true them a little bit, it helps a lot and makes the car perform better. It's a good added tool.
Give me 1 second. You guys can continue talking. I'm just going to check out something here very quickly.
Sure.
There's been so many people waiting for a tire tour to come out. It doesn't surprise
Yeah.
me that they're selling out.
Here in the U.S., I mean, you could get the overdrive like Raul got. Oh, it did. Here in the,
Yeah.
it's been a long story with that Truer from before, from the guy who made it. It's kind of a story about that behind that and what happened to it and how it went
Yeah.
out. But that's good that these guys stepped up to make one, and they make a lot of great products. A lot of stuff like replacing guides, and their stuff is good. I mean,
Yeah.
it's great stuff what they make, especially for Carrera cars. So if you want to put like get rid of that spring return guide, they make a lot of the ones that screw in. Instead of gluing them in, they have some that are screwed in. You could just screw it in over the existing one, and actually have a guide and not like a spring one. You could actually put like a slotting plus guide, which I've done before on Corvette, and I did a video on it one time, a long time ago. And let me grab it so I can show everybody. Here's a non-magnet Corvette, and this is the guide that I put on it. It's just a long, slotting plus guide. And that's what's great about that product that they make. You could replace it and put a regular guide instead of the snap, spring-loaded one that Carrera has. Put it on here so you can see it closer. So, but it's a deep wood guide. It's a good guide. Oh, other chat here I'm missing. Trimming front tires, yeah. That's another one that'll help also. What you said there, Marty.
Yeah, I think that like we run a lot of silicone, so Dusty was like, is it even worth truing silicone? But I think some of these cars tuning the front tires is as important as
well, in the
back.
video that Harry did on the Polycar, the Ferrari, like I did, you can make a small taper, and that also helps a little. He talked about that, making a small taper in the front, and then just making your no grips by using floor polish, which is Mop and Glow. Because now I guess the Future Shine is gone. So, but you can use Mop and Glow, and he used another product, and all you're doing is just coating the tires, like you said, with a Q-tip, and that's how you make yourself some no grips, and that helps too because the car is sliding instead of gripping and coming off. Yep, front are almost as important as rears. That's very true. What John just said there. That is true. That'll hinder the car if it's grabbing. So you want them nice and slidey.
Sorry, guys. Just creating a form here so people can contact me.
You can do that in your sleep.
Don't mind me. I'm just developing a website.
Several hours.
Right here while you just wait. Hey, Raul, we should put
this
a map
stuff together. Like nothing, man. All that stuff takes me time.
Huh?
This amazing link came out.
What are you talking about?
No, I was like, hey, it'd be great. We should put together a website to help people get connected. And then the next week, Raul
the next day it's
unleashes this beautiful thing that works perfect.
Okay, so the form's ready.
See?
Here.
Oh my God! Just like that in a matter of a couple of minutes.
And go here. All right, so
snaps his fingers and webs get developed.
People get in touch with me
5 years later.
So I'm just going to share this to make it easier. I'll just do it live here.
Correct. And making sure the wheels spin quicker or freely.
Dave, Raul is doing well using WordPress and not swearing out loud. I would agree, Dave.
All right, guys. So if you want to contact me, you can go to the website, which is conquestgamingclub.com. It's right up here. So if you guys remember, we have World of Slots, which is, we'll talk about that later. But if you click the contact me right now, you can just fill in your name and your email, submit, and that will get an email out to me, and I'll be able to get back in touch with you. And remember, last week I asked you guys on Marty's thing to keep on sending me more. I got 2 more entries from the community, but
Nice.
it would be nice if I could get more. But right now we have, I think, about close to 20 entries.
Go
World
back
of
to that
Slots.
other screen you had before
Awesome.
that real quick.
Which one?
The one before this one.
Okay, back to home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So see right there where it says 4.784? That's how long it took Raul to do the site, just so you know real quick.
That's right.
Seconds.
That's the new, whenever I put up, so I don't know if you guys know, I'll just give you a tour of the website, because
Please do.
I developed this website as a repository for information, and I tie in every card that I test on DDT is recorded here. So if you go down into the site, this is the layout. Like I said, it's available for anyone to download and replicate. And this is coming to another point that I wanted to do, which was a global race system, where we put together a master inventory of parts for Carrera. It will be a global Carrera race system, unfortunately, because that's the system I race Carrera. But we put a master list of parts, and then people from around the world could build tracks off that part, that master parts list, and would all race against that track for the month or a period of time. And I know now MP is on board. Marty has said he would be on board. I think George would also be on board. So right now we have like 4 teams that are ready to go. But eventually this is what I wanted to do, was create this master system where we could actually race against each other. And the way you do it is you jump on, we'll release a track for the month. You'd build that track in, and it wouldn't be bigger than a 12-foot or maybe even a 10-foot by 5-foot area. The tracks would be limited, but you jump on and do a live stream of you running your 5 or 10 laps around the track, and give us your best time and your total time for running that, and we'd catalog that, and you get points by what position you finished online. But that was a grand
So it's
scheme of
almost
things.
like a reverse proxy.
Yeah, exactly. But
that's cool. I like that.
but everyone would have to race live. You'd have to live stream your lapping, and that way we know that that's the lap time would get from you and put into the website. But this is like so what I did was I actually built a website where every make, every model, every class is registered. So if you notice, like, if you're clicking Aston Martin, it will automatically flip down and filter down to the fastest Aston Martins on the course.
Nice.
Vehicle classes are all here. So I have these classes that I raced. So if you wanted to just go back here, and if you want to just see a class, so GT3 class, these are all the GT3 cars I raced, and the fastest one is right now the slotted Nismo GTR. So yeah, this is the way I built it, and the website is meant to hold all this information. So
Can you put a link on the chat for that, and so everybody can?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, that's
so
great, and your car will never get lost in the mail doing that.
Exactly, it's an easier way that first of all, is standardized racing, so it allows people to race in the comfort of their own homes, as long as they can build with the master list. We'll make sure that everyone has the same inventory, so that when we're designing tracks, and what I would say is that what I would say is everyone can design from that master list. So we can all submit designs globally to the race, to submit tracks to race on, and then we could build this global racing system. I thought it was pretty awesome with the technology that we have today with live streaming. You don't need to, you could do this. We could all race each other in the comforts of our own home. And it's a grand scheme, I understand, but it's something that I wanted to put together. So that's why I built this the way I built it.
He built it in 5.784 seconds.
That's right.
No, I like challenges. I'll be honest. This is it was a challenge for me, and it just helps me with coding and getting better at coding.
You're damn good at it. I'll give you I've seen what Harry does, because Harry used to do coding for his website before the engines they have now to do it, and he was showing me what he did, and that takes a lot of work. I don't know how you guys do that. You have to sit there and just, that's a lot of work.
Oh well, I'm self-taught coding. I learned by myself. It was just a passion. I think if you're passionate about anything, it's like slot cars. I have a passion for slot cars. I may not be able to tune slot cars as good as George, but something I was talking to Boone about, and this is something that was really interesting, is that this slot car hobby on the surface looks very, very finite. It doesn't look deep, but when you get into it, when you're actually a hobbyist in slot cars, you understand how many layers this hobby has. Because, for instance, you could be a professional racer, right? You could learn you could get somebody to tune your car, and you could be really just good at racing. You could just be a real good racer. You could be a collector like I am. I fall into the collector category. I don't really tune all my cars. I just collect a high volume of cars. You could be, a hybrid. You could be a good racer. You could be a great track designer. Some people are really good at track design, right? Then you could be really good at terrain, like Boone is. And so there's so many facets to this hobby. It's just where you want to fit in and what parts you want from it, what parts you want to excel in. And right now, I'll be honest, the terrain thing has got me bugging right now. I pulled out my airbrush again. I put it away. I never thought I'd be airbrushing and going into like sculpting pink foam again. I pulled out all my hot wire cutters and everything that I had from my wargaming days, and suddenly I find myself wanting to do dioramas and wanting to do like really intricate dioramas, right? I want to do cliff faces, waterfalls. That's really appealing to me right now. Like, I love collecting cars, and that's easy. That's the easy part of the hobby. And when you want to put your hands to it, maybe the terrain is where I will find my home. So I think that's important to understand. Like, the hobby has so much depth to it, right? So I'm really blessed. And the community is so diverse, right? Everyone's got so many things to bring to this hobby. So I'm really, 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 really excited about it. Yeah. Yes, the rabbit hole is very deep, Gene. 100%.
It sure is.
Yeah, scratch building. I mean, like, I never thought I'd scratch build a car. Slot R is heading to bed. Finally.
Dave. You could have joined us, Dave. God,
yeah,
man.
Maybe next time.
Give him crap now.
That's right.
Yeah.
I'm going to get you, Dave. One of these days, we'll get you on here.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Boone even says yes, 100%. Like, yeah, it's impressive. Like, I've been watching Boone's videos religiously over the past couple of days. Just because I'm really, like I said, I got that terrain bug. Like, I was watching him using the soldering gun on his track and putting in cobblestone, right? And I was like, that's a lot of dedication. Right. Like, it's just crazy. Like, but it's a challenge. Like, can I do it myself? And I think that's really exciting me right now. But yeah.
I really like what you did, Raul, with what you posted, the
gantry.
The gantry. That looks fantastic. But I love what you did on the piece of track that goes along with it.
Oh, the stripe. Oh, no. So that's funny. Before I even thought about contacting anyone, I don't know if you guys know about this, but in my channel, I did a drag race with 47 cars. We ran 47 cars on a 1/8 mile. It's a 1/8 to scale, a 1/32 mile. So it was 21.5 meters of track all the way down from point to point. And it's equivalent to 1/8 mile. And for that, when you reach that end of that 1/8 mile, I had cut out the connections for the track. So I had put tape and I sprayed it with those crosshatch yellow lines. So I just pulled those pieces and I put them on the track because I'm not going to wreck another set of straights. I'm just going to paint over these ones. But that's kind of like, it added some cool, like,
Yeah, I loved it.
finish to it.
Awesome.
Yeah. Massimo also picked that out when he was over here. It's funny, Massimo was here, MP Slakar was here on the weekend. Right, and then he came back today. He was here on Friday, and actually he's been here Wednesday, Friday, and today. He's kind of been hanging out. We've kind of been hanging out, and so when he came on Friday, he asked me to show him how to airbrush, right? So I pulled out the airbrush and I started getting going. I actually airbrushed a figurine in front of him. Within like I just put in Zenithal highlighting. I showed him how I do Zenithal, and then he understood like airbrushing is pretty easy once you understand what you have to do, like small thin layers of paint. Most people want the airbrush to do huge coverage, and you end up putting in too much paint. Paint is too thick, and what happens is the airbrush doesn't perform the way it's supposed to, and you get frustrated, and then the cleanups and everything. But
there's another good topic right there: airbrushing.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
So
why not?
I set up my airbrush station with a PTZ camera. So pan, tilt, and zoom camera.
That will help people a lot because that is the one biggest challenge besides soldering next to it. And even I was intimidated is painting, especially painting like resin, regular plastic, the trips and tips. That would be a really good topic right there because that is another gorilla that needs to be brought to the table is airbrushing and painting. That's next to soldering. Those are the two that really, get people like, oh, I can't paint. You hear that a lot too.
Yeah. I can definitely do like now I come my style of painting is not I haven't done carb bodies. Right? So carb bodies are very different.
It won't be any different because you add that, like you said, that one, what do you call it? Monatomic? I don't know what that is. So when you're talking about
Zenithal?
Zenithal, there you go. So I mean that could be put onto a car. I mean there's a lot of techniques you have there that could also, create, like texture and depth and stuff like that.
Yeah. So talking about the gantry, right? Because this is the first time I'm painting terrain for slot cars. So obviously it came in MDF and I assembled it without thinking about how I was going to paint it. I just wanted to assemble it. So I assembled it, I sanded everything down. Then I realized that I should have painted them I should have painted the pieces in their flat form first, at least the base coats. I should have done the airbrushing on the base coats in their flat form before I assembled it, and then I would have done my highlights and my weathering when it was assembled. The reason for that is I noticed once it's assembled, some areas are really hard to reach and stuff. So that's just part of learning. So that's something that I learned.
There's another one too, Raul, that Gene just mentioned, which you do is 3D printing. Another topic, and we're actually getting some. Got a lot of topics coming up here already. We're covered for 3 weeks.
That's good.
Yeah, 100%. So there's a lot of things. Like I said, this hobby's got so much stuff in it. So we say, oh, we've covered a lot, but I think we haven't even scratched a lot of the surfaces. Like we've touched on surfaces, but we've never dug in or got fixed into it. So 100%, there's definitely a lot to put together. Yeah. And it's exciting because for us, then there's a lot of things that we can bring on table. And once again, guys, the whole reason for this live stream is to get more of you involved. So, please reach out. Now I got a form, and you know how to get there, please reach out, and jump on the live stream. It's nothing. It's very simple, and share with us. Share with us live your experiences, and if there's a particular topic that we're going to discuss, and you feel that you have a lot to bring to the table. Like last week, like Boone jumped on, which was impressive, and like I feel so blessed. Thank you so much. But we have a lot of people that have a lot of information about certain areas of the hobby that we possibly would never be able to get if we didn't hear from you guys. So we really need that kind of help and support. And so as much as you're attending, great. Jumping on and being live with us, that's extra special for us. So please feel free to do that. And now I got a form so you can do that easier.
There you go.
Yeah, I think that's it for tonight. That's another
great job, guys.
Wrapping up here. Thank you everyone for coming on board. And remember, next week is the live draw for the winner on this live stream. Right? The giveaway is happening next week on Monday. So once again, if you'd like to win a 918 Spider with Martini livery, please go to my channel and check out that video and comment. And next week on this live stream, we'll pick the winner live using the software that I have. And and somebody will walk away with that Porsche. Anything you guys want to add? Marty? I know tomorrow night is Marty's live stream at 8 o'clock. We all will look forward to that. It's bookmarked on my calendar, by the way.
Anyone special coming on, Marty, or are you leaving a surprise for us?
I actually I'm in conversation with a couple of people, but I haven't locked that down yet. So
gotcha.
We probably will do a nice walkthrough of layout as well. So
yeah,
a good idea.
Yeah, and so that's
Thanks,
it.
guys.
George, do you have anything that you want to add in?
No, just looking forward to next week's topics, and thanks for getting me hooked onto this Ecamm. I really like it. As I used it on a live stream earlier on tuning that Lancia, light tuning.
Yeah.
And I liked it a lot. I like how it's easy to use. It's very easy to use. So now I understand it a little bit more, but I just got to work around the little tricks and things it has that I don't know yet. But I'm looking forward to the Smart Race app thing next week. That's going to be cool because I got a lot of questions on the analog thing. Can you use a webcam, blah blah blah, and all that stuff. But it's the analog part is the nice part. So if somebody doesn't want to, invest in the TrackMate and get a big computer, or not a big computer, they're smaller now, but still you have to have hardware. This actually makes the hardware less cumbersome because you use the pad and the phone. And if you want to mirror it, you just mirror it to your Roku or your television, and that's it. Whereas with
once you get Mevo cams, George, it gets even more exciting.
Yeah. And I got quite a few webcams, so I mean,
Mevo cams
upstairs will be good because I have a lot of ideas now. So
George, you know how your Ecamm is working right now in this room with Mevo cams. You could have your Mevo cams in the room upstairs, and you would be able to access them from your Ecamm.
See,
without any cables.
That's cool. Okay, that's cool right there. I like that. So you're the master and all that. So I'll be talking to you soon.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, it's been fun. Marty, thanks a lot. George, thanks a lot. Everyone, we'll see you next week. Marty, we'll see you tomorrow.
Sounds good.
Take care, guys. Okay.
See you
Bye.
Bye.